another edition of Coach Speak. Let's get to. That's Ira, that's Corey, I'm Jeff, you're here. We appreciate you. Ben is doing what he does best, putting it together and producing. First up, what do we got, big man?
Yeah, I couldn't wait to be back. Just for this coach alone, Long Beach State coach Dan Monson. I'm sure you guys all know the story. He was told before the conference tournament he would not be returning next season, and then they went out and won the whole damn thing. So they got to go to the NCAA tournament, which meant that he had an NCAA tournament media availability, and he made the most of it.
You guys see the Seinfeld when George Costanza was trying to get fired and couldn't lose his job and still going to work every day, and that's me. I'm a Seinfeld episode going on right now in real life. Is it an opening statement? Was that it? What do we got going?
Yeah.
How do I do this?
Coach, we'll go
Is
ahead
this thing
and
on?
start with questions right here, please.
I have a gratitude towards having this week because a lot of coaches don't. When they're done, they're done, and so let's take advantage of this week. But I said, we're in this together now. This is just us against everybody else. So if you guys need to take the day to gather, if you need to, I said we were going to watch a little film and shoot today, but if you don't want to do that, great. If you want to do a little bit of it, so they said, can we get 30 minutes they just said, can we get a few minutes by ourselves? And it took about 30 minutes before they text back, and they said, we would like to watch a little film. So, I come in there, and it's still, we got a couple of them that couldn't really watch film. They went into our other room, and they're still, couldn't get their emotions together. And you're watching film, and you hear guys sniffling and everything. And so the first thing I said is, just bonding together and this galvanizing is not going to be enough. Our defense has got to get better. We've got to be a better basketball team this week. Yeah. And I said, just look at this first defensive clip, guys. I said, we close out short here. I said, the guy's wide open. We don't get a contest. These are the kind of plays that would get a coach fired. And the whole room just broke up. And it just started right then. It was like,
That's
okay,
a really good line.
We're going to be all right here. And, we went to practice on Tuesday, and it was terrible. And I told them afterwards, don't cry in the locker room and say that this bothers you, and then come out and not practice well.
Play like
Something's got
ass.
to be different for us to be different. So.
Austin Getz with KHQ in Spokane. Coach, just Gonzaga's on this incredible run of consecutive tournaments, which started with you. Just how much pride do you take in being, one of the first to make this long run and also being there in '95 as well?
The Zag father, the dog father, I got to have a name for that, right? I got to be, because that's my claim to fame. I can't be known as the only guy to get fired and work in the NCAA tournament for free. That's got to be my legacy, is starting that, and I'm super proud of it. And my only regret is that Elite Eight run was the second year of my career as a head coach, and I didn't realize just how special it was, or how, how hard it is. I think life is life, and how some of it is good and some of it's bad, and how you pivot through it defines who you are. And I'm hoping that people look at me and say, hey, he had a great job. I mean, what are we feeling sorry for him? He had 17 years driving that car, and it was a great ride. And I knew the car was leased. I mean, and they wanted the keys back. But it's not insured this week. But I still get to drive it. And I'm gonna try to keep it on the road. The road to the Final Four. I'm going to try to keep it on there. And yeah, sometimes you need to step back and say, I've got it pretty good. And this is how allowed me to do that, and it's been a very emotional, spiritual, however you want to put it. I've been on my knees this week more times than not, I mean, it's been very good to know that I'm in a good place, and I'm looking forward to next year, and I don't even know what it is, but as I tell my players, I'm not worried about anything but tomorrow. I mean, we're trying to stay in the moment, and staying in the moment's been pretty good to us this week.
All right, Dan, that's enough out of you, Dan. I think we've We've had enough of Dan's press conference.
You got a thorough picture of Dan, who I like and seems like a fun guy. By the way, really what gets lost in all of this is he got lucky. So the second year he was there, he takes Gonzaga in 95 to the Elite Eight.
That's when they beat – is that when they beat Florida? Didn't they upset Florida on one of their runs before anybody knew what – the only thing Gonzaga was known for was John Stockton.
Right.
For our whole lives. And now they're a
fixture.
Perennial power. They're a blue blood.
Yeah.
But back in the 90s, nobody even knew how to pronounce their name. I still don't, actually.
What I was going to say was he got lucky as somebody here on the panel who's been to Spokane. He got to get out of there early and go to Long Beach.
Okay.
Brother, enjoy the ride. You get to get famous for taking Gonzaga from nothing to something, and you got out before you had to stay there like Mark Few for the last 20 years and live in Spokane, which you'd shoot yourself in the face if you've ever been to Spokane. It's unbelievably bad.
I thought Long Beach was where all the dock workers worked, though. That's not the real – I didn't think that was the part of California you wanted to live. I thought that was the rough and tumble.
I think it'd be better than being in Spokane, Corey.
Apparently, I got that impression from you talking about it.
Yeah. No, that's the land time forgot in Spokane. You see a whole lot of methy individuals. Let's just put it that way.
The best part of that whole story was right before they played in the tournament, and their AD came out and said that this was his plan all along. He was looking for a spark for this team.
Yeah.
And he thought by firing the coach before the conference tournament, that might be the spark they needed. It's like, all right, cool, man.
Well, what was Louisville waiting on?
Yeah, Louisville could have had a spark.
What are we doing?
As soon as the kid didn't have his leggings, they should have lit that spark.
They could have fired their ass up early on.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
And do we really believe the kids were crying and sniffling? I
believe that maybe there was some emotion. I do think it's funny that some of them needed to go in a separate room to get it together. I don't know about all that. That seems a bit much.
We need a half hour to gather our thoughts.
I would have
they were watching the end of Titanic or something, and they were big Leo fans. Like that, like they're watching film, and you're hearing sniffling. That could have happened.
Seems a bit much. What I did like is he said he gave them the option to gather themselves or do something else if they didn't want to watch film. Like, wouldn't it have been funny if like everybody wanted to watch film except for Keith? He went out to eat.
Yeah,
Keith decided to go get something to eat.
Keith went to Chili's.
Keith took off. Really didn't care to watch film.
The
rest of them.
It was good for the payoff, though. The line about, guys, this is the kind of defense that gets a coach fired.
Gets a coach fired is really funny.
All right, Ben, what do we got for number 2?
Hey, we're going to go to some more basketball here coming up, but I thought we might want to check in on some of our favorite coaches now that spring football has started up. We'll start with Curt Cignetti up in Indiana. This is after day 1 of their spring practice in his opening statement.
We haven't seen him in a set.
You guys are going to want to know a lot, but, I mean, it's one practice, no pads. You play football pads on. I always call it pajamas when we go out like this. Some people think it's safer that we go out 2 days like this. It's really not, but, whatever. Just tell me the rules and I'll play by them.
And I'll kick your ass.
I thought the flow was good today. Players tried to do the right thing. About an hour, 55-minute practice. And there's not a whole lot to tell you other than, we have practice again on Saturday morning. We'll get 13 in this spring and 22, 23 in fall camp. And, most important thing is we're ready to go and run out the tunnel for the opener.
We'll be, the only thing I need to tell you is we're going to be a lot better than that clown's show they had last year.
Yeah.
I
win games.
About an hour and 55 minutes.
Yep.
Thanks for the info, Coach. That's appreciate you. We'll get to writing our stories.
In pajamas.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, again, it always takes me back, and I talk about this all the time, and I know some people watching this don't care about Florida State, but imagine being an Indiana media member or an Indiana football fan. And that's the information you get about your program in spring. We practice for about an hour 55
minutes
in pajamas, and we're going to have 13 more before the spring game.
You guys like that Sigs thought the term pajama football was original? I call it pajama. Nobody else has ever said that, Sigs.
He came up with it. Exactly. That was awesome.
But my point being, we get to watch practice down here, so we don't have to have a coach just say nothing to talk about. I feel like in Indiana, you need to sell the program a little bit, and you want to get people interested in what's going on, not just tell them hour 55, see you on Thursday.
Saturday.
Yeah, sorry.
You you just want to say, hey, you know that you guys called this press conference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you were not going to say anything, that's cool. But why are we doing this?
You'll be pumped up, Corey, for Indiana football when he takes to the dais after week 1's win with a cigarette in hand and a glass of bad scotch on ice.
Yeah. Just
Then
loosen
you're
the
gonna be
tie.
like, okay, my man.
All right.
I told you, look me up, Google me.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's the one that said that, right?
Yes.
Google me. He said it like this too. Google me.
Google me.
He reminds me. He's also got the vibe of like the 70s private detectives.
Yes.
Like Columbo or Rockford.
100%.
Right.
And he's dirty.
He is dirty.
He's dirty.
He's
taking
not
money under
afraid.
the table. He's planting.
You're wrong. You
evidence.
just said he plays by. Tell me the rules. I'll play by him. He
No,
just said
no
that.
chance.
Tell me the rules
Which-
and I'll break them.
Which is that's a better tagline.
Yeah.
Nobody
Tell me
would
the
make a
rules, I'll
movie
break-
where the
I'll
cop
break
is like, "Tell me
And
the
I'll
rules. I'll
plan
play by
evidence
him."
to boot. You're going down. What's
Ridiculous.
this I found here on you, Mr. Reporter? Cocaine in the dash. Yeah, that's him. That is him.
That'd
in
be
a
great.
heartbeat.
At the press conference, he just goes around planting evidence on reporters he doesn't like. Oh, let me look in your bag here. Oh, a 9mm.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
weird.
do that at Indiana. What are you bringing in here, sir? Yeah, that's good. Ben, Coach 3.
Hopefully this works. I tested him out. I know we had some issues with our guy Dave Aranda for a couple
he's back.
episodes, but he is back.
Yes.
And he was asked if he had an acronym or a motto for spring practice, and of course he does.
Motto.
It's Dave Aranda.
Have any type of are you a theme for spring type of guy? Is there anything in particular that's kind of a motto for spring ball, or is it just so much change you're kind of wrapping your head around all of that?
No, yeah. I mean, I think that change is always difficult because we're
I
used
miss
to what
him
we're
so
used to.
much.
But there could be a lot of good with change. I think
didn't
you know
appreciate that
the
question.
one thing for sure about change is you don't do stuff just because that's what we always used to do. And I think there can be good that can come out of that. You know. But we talk about ball, brotherhood, and battle. And so making from the beginning ball just really important.
3 Bs.
And then ball is kind of our language, and ball is something that is that we're connecting with and by, and it's something that we're spending time on, and it's something that we're investing our extra time in. And so that's coaches and players. And then brotherhood. Is like,
Yeah, here we go.
you know, all the things, whether it's at my house or it's the families coming over, or it's the coaches connecting with one-on-one talks of, hey, this is school, this is life, how are we handling all these changes, right? And tell me how you really feel. I know that's what you're supposed to say. I think getting to all of that is a brotherhood where there's trust, accountability, and realness. And then battle is just way important. That's
It's
the
just we
compete
go
and
through
finish,
gang
man.
battles. We have gang battles.
Where it matters, and I'm
ridding
pissed
the
off
streets
if I
of
lose,
gangs.
and I'm not in it to lose, and I want to win, and you know, I'm fighting and scratching and doing everything I can to get that edge. And so, you know,
Clearly.
I mean, we had Gary looking. The offense was having like a walkthrough. We had Gary around the corner looking to see the secret plays, and so I mean, we're all fired up to get out and do our best, and I think it's a good mojo right now. So we'll see where it goes.
So there's a chance he's a sociopath. Like he's a sociopathic serial killer.
No, man, he's just a good-hearted human.
I mean, that's probably true, Ira. But that laugh at a joke that nobody understood was the first time I've been genuinely concerned about Dave Aranda.
It was a little disconcerting for you.
Yeah, because he was laughing at something like a whole scene playing out in his mind that nobody else could see.
Yeah.
I have a vision of what I think it was. I think Gary, I'm guessing, is the DC or defensive coach, and he's like peeking around the corner trying to get a glimpse of the offense before they go against each other. It's almost like I feel like the vibe at a Baylor practice is like capture the flag. Like this is the brotherhood they've got.
Or hide and seek.
They're hide and seek.
Hide and
There
seek.
you go.
Yeah.
Hide and seek, capture the flag. Maybe later they're going to do a little kickball. I mean, I just that's the vibe of a Baylor practice, I think.
By
And
the
you
way,
know he's around a campfire just strumming a Wings song. So he's playing some sort of acoustic guitar song over and over again.
There's three of us here. Can we go with ball, brotherhood, and battle?
Ball, brotherhood, and battle.
Can we all pick a one?
I'll be ball.
You want ball?
Yeah.
Ira, what do you want? You want battle or brotherhood?
I prefer brotherhood. But if you're okay with battle,
I'll take battle. I'll take the stress of battle. I'll take that on.
It's weird. Is that the motto for just spring 2024? It seems like that's just the way that program. That's the culture there, or is it just for this month?
I want the shirt that only those of us who care deeply about Dave Aranda on Coach Speak or who play for Dave Aranda, will understand. Just a BBB. I want a shirt that just has the BBB.
Yeah, you think the Big Baller Brand's going to have an issue with the trademark? Any kind of
forgot about Big Baller Brand already.
We got another triple B out there. Is all I'm saying.
That's in my rear view from back in the day.
The Ball family might have it. The Ball family. Hey, you're taking our name as part of your motto, there, Dave.
Hey, by the way, low key underrated those shoes.
Okay,
yeah.
Those shoes going out on a limb
love
there.
those shoes.
All
Nobody bought them. They shouldn't have bought them. Dad's nuts, but those shoes were tight. I liked them.
That is nuts.
I did. Ben, what do we got?
3 more college basketball clips. I did want to take a second. We had a viewer submit some Richard Pitino clips to me. That was Jeff.
Buddy.
I didn't forget about you, Jeff. We're going to work those in on a later show, but we got to get these March Madness clips in. And this is actually pre-March Madness. This is Dan Hurley. Another incident with Dan and a fan at the Big East tournament. So he's recapping that a little bit.
He's the worst.
Very good coach, though.
For me, well, obviously the place was in a frenzy when Coach got his. And then there was a guy in, there was a short guy in a red blazer.
Short, chubby
that
guy.
was on the court yelling at the ref. And then he started yelling at me, and moving in my direction. So I was just kind of pointing out, to James that he was behaving worse than Coach Pitino. So I was really just trying to help the officials, so they might not have seen it. And then I got a technical for pointing out, more increasingly aggressive fans that courtside you shouldn't end up on the court,
At halftime, it seemed like you were sort of still in a dialogue.
I kept him in. They were going to eject him from the game. I went over there to tell the ushers I wanted him to stay, not because I thought he was a good guy. I thought it might be bad luck, karma. Not because
What was he saying to you? Can you say that?
There was a lot of expletives and and again, like all you'll see with the camera, you're not seeing what's in front of me, and I'm probably now the boy who cried wolf now because of late game. But I promise you, if we play Marquette tomorrow night, there'll be no incident because those people are incredibly classy fans, and we have incredible respect for them.
All right.
Was that a shot at Marquette or St. John's? It sounded like he was being sarcastic though with Marquette.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know enough to know. But I thought it was a shot at St. John's.
Me too.
By the way, there might be people, probably a lot of people watching this that don't follow college basketball because nobody does anymore, really. Danny Hurley during a game is a psychopath. Yeah. He is a crazy person during a game.
And he
seems measured and calm. He's a psychopath during those 40 minutes.
Who was it he got into it with when they played FSU a few years ago?
Phil Kofer.
Yeah, so FSU had for people that don't remember, Phil Kofer was a senior on FSU's basketball team. Really well liked, not a big talker, not like a big flamboyant guy.
Yes.
Yeah, a really good player. And somehow he and Hurley got into it during the game, and he's like screaming at him during the game.
I remember it exactly. It was in a preseason tournament in Connecticut before UConn was this. It might have been Hurley's first year there, and Florida State was really good. It was late in the game. I think Kofer was injured and wasn't even playing. He was sitting on the bench.
Yeah, he's on the bench. Right.
Hurley was screaming at everybody the whole game, refs, fans, Florida State's players. And then Kofer yelled something at him, and Hurley looked back and said, "Shut up or mind your own business," or something. And Kofer just pointed to the scoreboard.
Right.
Well, Kofer laughed first and then pointed to the scoreboard. Kofer was 6'9", 245, probably 250. And Danny Hurley, 6 foot at best. I mean, that wouldn't have worked out well for Hurley.
I guess my point was, though, it's not like Kofer's a guy you would automatically walk in the gym and be like, this is the guy I want to argue with. And so at the time, I thought it was crazy. But then you watch him like screaming at Rick Pitino, and you realize, man, this dude is completely nuts. I mean, think whatever you want about Rick Pitino, but his status is a little bit higher than yours. I know you won a national title a year ago, but you're going at, who wouldn't he go at? It's just he's kind of a nut.
He was classless when Florida State beat their ass. I remember it very specifically. Before the game, during the game, and after the game.
Yeah.
Classless. So he's
What's
clown.
odd, though, is like he played basketball at a high level. He played at Seton Hall, I think, when his brother was at Duke. His brother's a crazy person on the sidelines, too. But what I just thought about this. They both played 4 years of high-level college basketball. They never once – they're both punks, right, in their own way. But they never showed their ass as players like they do as coaches, even though they're the same person.
Yeah,
so
weird.
why? Like, why could they keep it together as a player, but as a coach, they've lost all sense of
because
reality.
you have authority as a coach over kids. When you're one of the kids and you're 6 feet tall and everybody else around you is 6'10", you take an ass kicking when you get out of line.
Right.
Right, but I mean, even yelling at the refs. Like, they wouldn't even yell at the refs.
You don't want to get teed up as a player and get put on the bench. You want playing time. You also defer to players that are all bigger than you. Like, I mean, remember Christian Laettner slapped Bobby Hurley at a Duke practice, which is awesome. That's still one of my favorite stories. It makes me like Christian Laettner.
It also makes you wonder.
It makes you hate him a little less.
All the stories about their dad as a high school coach and the
legend,
I guess had a dynasty.
Yeah.
You wonder what he was like at practice. Was he
sure he was
like that at high school games? Is that where they learned it from?
He was calm, caring, just molding men.
He's clearly not embarrassed by their actions now, so he's proud of them. And look, man, I don't think Bobby's doing great at Arizona State, but Danny has been amazing at UConn. They could very well win another one. I guess it works. He's a good coach. He's the psychopath, though, for those 40 minutes.
Yeah, and even during that press conference, though, you could see why players might like him, right?
Yeah,
because he's got the big, he's got the big attitude. He's got the swagger. He's not going to take crap from anybody. So. You could see. Plus, he's like you said, he's obviously
and you're winning.
Knows what he's doing.
So it makes it easier. Ben, next up.
Hey, we've got two more coaches coming your way. They're both from the same game. I had to work this in, guys. First up, this is Greg Kampe after the Oakland Golden Grizzlies had the upset of the tournament over Kentucky. Here's what he had to say. So a little preface to this. He actually came out and said before the game that this was the best matchup they could get, and made some Hoosiers references too. He took a lot of slack for that prior to the game. So, he had to talk about that in the postgame.
Nice.
AP. Greg, did you speak this into existence yesterday with the talk about Hoosiers and Jimmy Chitwood and all that?
That's my boy right there, Jimmy Golke. No, I got a lot of crap about what I said, and I was shocked by that. People just couldn't believe that I said I wanted Kentucky, and they took it all wrong. I mean, we had a chance to play on prime time, and I knew my team's good, and I knew that they deserved the chance to not play in somewhere out where nobody's paying attention, and that team won, and then show the highlights. I wanted them to be prime time, and I knew they would. There was never a doubt in my mind that this wasn't going to be a game. Now, there was doubt that we would win, but there was never a doubt that this would be a game because I've been with this team since June, and I know who they are. And
I've seen Kentucky play defense.
Did anybody think that was lucky? That's the worst we've shot from the free throw line all year, and we missed point-blank shots early. But Golke put us on our back, and then
no, other way around.
We did all, our defense travels. It carried us, right? And, I brought that up. The only reason I brought that up, honestly, is because just before I came into the press conference that day, somebody had tweeted it at me. And so I knew that. I'm not that big of a nerd, all right? I just knew it, and because I had just read it. And it seemed the right thing to say. But honestly, the Kentucky fans that thought I was the biggest compliment I could give
just
you.
F them. Don't worry about
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
You're the blue blood, the blue blood,
you to be
the
their
fan
coach.
base is the best, that you have the best coach. And
that's not
all
true.
that kind of stuff. That was just a compliment. It didn't mean anything but that.
I don't think that's true.
Man, I hate that. I hate it. I know why he did it, and I understand it's classy. F that. He should have been like, look, man, my team can play. I thought we'd be in the game, and we won. And, there you go. Suck it, Kentucky. Next.
It's also, like y'all got 3 first-round picks. You might have 2 in the top 10, but they're young, and our guys are old, and I knew we could hang with them, and we'd withstand the athleticism, and I'm an awesome coach.
Plus, I've watched Cal lose with Cousins and Devin Booker and every other NBA superstar that you can name in the league in the last 5 years. F that guy.
I think Anthony Davis is automatic. He shouldn't even have to wait the 5 years to get in the Hall of Fame because he won a championship with Calipari.
Yeah.
He was so good. He withstood.
He overcame Cal.
He overcame Cal. Yeah.
No doubt.
If he had just stopped after the first minute, it would have been fine. He just kept going and going. It's like, dude, we get it. I mean, you can take the high road at the beginning, but then just move on, man. Enjoy what you guys did. That's crazy. You had a kid hit 10 threes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just insane.
It was awesome. Also, why would you care what Kentucky fans think? They've got enough things to be angry about besides you. In fact, a lot of those Kentucky fans are probably like, good, because they thought it might get him fired. It didn't.
Right.
They probably thought it was going to. Probably should have. Ben, fired up.
I guess Ben had to save. It's like a fine wine. He had to save Cal for the end.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah. Let's hear his excuses, guys. What do you think?
Louisville grad.
They're freshmen. Right, we don't know how they're going to respond in this stuff.
Yep.
I didn't hear.
Were there similarities?
No, we were beat up that game. I mean, Kellen, if he didn't have the plantar fasciitis, we were a beat up team. Ty had a high ankle sprain. I mean, and we still had our chances to win, and we messed around and lost. But this was the full roster. They're not machines and they're not robots. And, they need the experience of some of this stuff. So when you're in this environment, you can do it. And I thought we went through every experience I could talk about. We were losing more than one game for 36 minutes and came back and won the game. So we did that a couple times. So, but maybe overhelp, maybe sometimes I think they're so talented that they would try to take over a game themselves. That's more offensively, or doing what you're saying, Mike, just leave. Why did you do that? I'm going to go make a play defensively. Well, no. Or I'm going to make the play offensively, so I'm going to take the next 3 shots. Okay, you missed 3 now. Now we have an issue. Now we're down 5. And so sometimes when you're that talented, you're like, okay, let me take this over. The good news is I thought that was something that would play good for us, where we could get separation from people. But in this kind of game, it kind of hurt us.
John, what kind of an impact does a game like this have in St. Peter's a couple of years ago just on your philosophy moving forward? Does that mean different scheduling approaches? Does that mean different roster approaches in terms of veterans?
It's a good question.
Oh, there you go, John.
Like, I've done this with young teams my whole career. And it's going to be hard for me to change that because we've helped so many young people and their families.
Oh, that's what he's doing.
That I don't see myself just saying, okay, we're not going to recruit freshmen.
That is the worst.
I mean, the thing that
Evan
we've
Booker
been
never
blessed with is
even gets paid in time
families
if
bring
it's not
their
for John
sons
Calipari.
to us, and we do what we're supposed to do to help them prepare for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. He turns them into men.
But I've taken some older guys, and we've
we
done
don't
it.
take those 5
I like
stars
what we were
in,
doing
guys.
offensively.
Nobody
How
else
do
will
we get
take 'em.
tougher? How do we get more physical? My teams defensively and rebounding have all been better than this, but we've never been like this offensively. And I kind of like coaching the way I did this year. So we've got to figure out who's coming back and who's not. We got this transfer stuff going on. We may not need it. We have an unbelievable group coming in that I feel really good about.
Some more freshmen.
We add some guys
Changing
and
their
they
lives.
stay.
Some more lives to change.
Saving lives, Corey.
Yeah, that's right.
They're saving lives at Kentucky.
I mean, you think about Karl Anthony Towns and where he'd be right now if he wasn't in Lexington.
Homeless,
for 5
Corey.
months.
Homeless.
Maybe he's a good kid. I think he'd be worth. He'd get a job at Circle K, or maybe a fast food place. He'd find some work.
A job at Circle K isn't even a step up from from
Come on.
There's somebody.
I mean, you might as well be. No, I think he'd be like an administrator at a school somewhere. Karl Anthony Towns would be a teacher, assistant principal or something. He's a bright guy, but he would have never gotten paid to play basketball. if he wouldn't have been able to showcase his skills at Kentucky for those 5 months.
I like that Cal goes out, surveys the landscape, sees a bunch of McDonald's All-Americans, and AAU All-Stars, and says, which ones need our help?
Yeah.
Which ones need our help to make it in this world?
Just to clarify, we're not besmirching people that work in the fast food or convenience store industry.
No, we were besmirching one particular gas station. That's all.
Corey
That's a wrap.
Corey just has a vendetta against one particular gas
He's
station.
frightened when he gets gas at Circle K. And so,
everybody is.
No.
Unless you're Carl Anthony Towns and you're 6'11", nobody's screwing with you.
What do you think is watching him talk now? And again, I mean, the guy's got, I don't know, how many $1 million in the bank? Tens of millions of dollars.
100, 200.
But has any coach given off that vibe more than him? Kay was competitive as hell at the end. Roy Williams still seemed to have some fire, even though Jeff didn't believe it. He thought he was rolling out there, Roy.
He was.
At least you could see him get emotional. I don't know, man. Cal just seems like he could be just lounging on a recliner somewhere with
I think you're mistaking that. He was trying his best to pretend to be humble in that moment, is my opinion.
Now imagine failing that miserably at an effort to pretend to be humble.
But no, that's in that particular press conference. That's why he told the guy, good question. He really listened to it. He didn't.
It actually was a good question.
It was, but usually Cal would have contempt for that. He's like, are you kidding me? Look what I've done here in the last 20 years. But when you just lost to Oakland, the year after losing to whoever it was, St. Peter's or whoever they said, you have to be humble because everybody's mad at you. And it's incredible that you just lost again in the first round.
And it's a possibility you're going to get fired.
Yes, correct. Right. Like there was
a distinct possibility. They had to think about it.
Legitimate smoke there.
Even though they owe you over $30 million.
$33 million.
Yeah.
Is that what they owe them?
That's what they would have if they had fired him.
Wow.
Even though he's won one tournament game in the last 5 years.
Also, it's like, but still, it's Kentucky, man. They were a fun team to watch this year. They averaged like 95 points a game.
Man, you cannot be losing to Oakland in the first round.
Sure you can. Sure, everybody does it. Except Roy. Roy didn't lose in the first round.
There was a year where Roy didn't make the tournament late in his career, sir.
But that was the thing I didn't get. Like the second part of that guy's question was good. The part about you're going to change how you recruit, or you're going to bring in older players. The first part about scheduling, what are you going to do? Like it's not like they don't play good teams in the SEC. It's not. I need to schedule more crappy small schools that.
I think he used scheduling as a buffer for the real part of the question that he wanted to get to, which is roster management.
Yeah.
It is fun though to see Calipari humbled. I mean, that is because there's nobody that thinks more highly of themselves than he does.
And why would he? When they lose again in the first round, it's a good bet.
Doesn't matter, Jeff, because he'll have saved 4 to 5 McDonald's All-Americans that had no direction in their life otherwise.
How dare us even besmirch the man? What is going on here?
Shame on about those kids. It always has.
Shame on you, Ben, and your biased Louisville ways.
Yeah.
I think Ben, come on in. I think it was. Were you saying the other day at practice you wish John Chaney had finished the job? when he went after him,
I did say that. I did.
Yeah. For the young viewers that don't remember,
look it up.
When
Google it.
When Cal was an up and comer.
Yeah, that should be a coach. We should do that next time. A coach speak look back, a throwback.
Well done, Ira. Well done. Hey, who wins? Does Dave Aranda win the Dave Aranda Coach Speak Award?
He might. He might.
He was back.
Yeah.
Just by being back.
I mean, I did like the return. Yeah, I would say I love that guy. I know I said he might be a sociopath. It was the way he laughed at his own weird joke that I thought was maybe it's not weird to the people in the room too. They probably know who Dave is.
If Dave Aranda makes an appearance, he's the Dave Aranda Coach of the Week on Coach Speak.
I'll be honest though, he didn't tell the guy that he appreciated the question.
That was weird.
That is odd.
Is that going to be?
He didn't do that for any of the questions. Maybe it's a new year, new Dave. Yeah, he didn't do that for any of the.
Somebody got to him.
Oh my God!
He got one of those life coaches.
They told him he looks soft.
Yeah, you're showing weakness when you tell people you appreciate questions.
Or maybe it's like a New Year's resolution. I'm not going to appreciate any questions until I start winning games.
I'm not appreciating a damn thing until I start winning games.
I'll be honest with you. I'd like a media member occasionally just to say, "Hey, I appreciate that answer, Dave. Thank you."
There you go.
They don't though.
Yeah, Dave WTSP. Real quick, I want you to know I appreciate that last answer. Now my question. That'd be great. Hey, good job, Ben, as always. For Ira and Corey, I'm Jeff. Have a good rest of the week. Peace.